morning, evening, or afternoon, everyone, whatever time you are watching it. Today's daily dose is coming from you from Daddy PB's account. We do have the Celebrate Festival, the favorite whale event. Actually, it's not. It's a terrible event, but sometimes, just sometimes, if you've been saving up a lot of the gold and you've been working on the shards, it feels pretty good when you get a milestone. But we are, of course, going to cover the newest Mythic tactics to be released. I'm not sure what this warm Christmas thing means down here. That's a bit confusing, but we do have Heavenly Clouds Mythic tactics, so we're going to talk a bit about that. But before we begin, I should probably tell you that this is always going to be a whale event. So if you don't really want to spend money on the game, this is probably not the event that you want to be watching. But you are still going to have some relevant topics later on in the video. But for those, I like to get it out of the way early on. If you're looking for good value, I would recommend only buying the dollar packages for the stamina pills, the lamb steaks, and the gold. Anything else is a little bit of a rip-off. The daily deals are actually the best deals for this event here if you need extra stamina and you don't want to. Basically, you can decide, do the maths yourself and figure out if it is worthwhile getting like the drumsticks and the vegetables. You can get a little bit more lamb steaks from the God's blessings, but it really comes down to what you want out of the game. If you are going to spend, always do so with a budget. But for those that are curious to acquire these heavenly clouds, it is going to be very, very, very expensive. So we need to assess which one's actually worthwhile going to build. First things first, though, let's talk about the drops. Pretty stock standard. Go through them, press the button, pretty much do the attempts wherever it leads you to do. Would I recommend rushing through and trying to get all of these ones every single day? No. Sometimes it works in your favor if you have a couple of things saved up, but I really wouldn't worry too much about spending all your currency. It is always a good idea to have things in reserve, but the reality is it is RNG based for the drumsticks, and the rewards are kind of limited anyway. So do as you please for those missions, pretty stock standard. Divine weapons and team battle. For those that are curious, divine weapons are these ones, so you don't need to do those pesky premium summons, which is quite nice. And of course, team battles is this one down here, which you should be doing anyway. So oh, look, we're very, very close. You know what? We're going to do one more. We're going to do one more and see whether or not let's get. I don't know. Can we get the two shards? Oh, we only got one shard. Oh no, we have to do another one. Got to risk it for the biscuit. We're so close. There we go. Two shards. Perfect. Okay, so like I said, go and do team battles. If you want to spend some extra gold, you can do so. But you should be able to complete that over the 3 days of the event. Anyway, goodies exchange, pretty stock standard. You get to pick between either or of the new tactics. 25 lamb steaks for 5, and you need 100. So somebody will have to sit down and do the actual maths for that, but it seems to be pretty excessive, probably around $700 to build these things. Maybe more depending on where you are in the world. It's very expensive, so I guess we need to have a look and see what they do. Heavenly Clouds. After your action, there is a 70% chance to trigger Soaring Rook. Summoning a Rook deals 300 magic damage to all enemies. The fewer targets there are, the higher the damage. Plus 20% per target below the maximum, with 30% chance for 2 times damage and 10% chance for 3 times damage. Very much indicative of a Serpent Halberd weapon proc. Reduces the target's, this is important, attack, crit, strength, and damage by 20% each for 1 round. So it's a bit of a debuff. Definitely has some shoe flavoring to it. And inflicts wind barrier on the target with the highest HP. Cannot gain the 3 stat buff for 2 rounds. Ooh, okay. So it's a bit of a a little bit of a debuff, DPSy kind of tactic. I think more importantly, though, you have to look at it from what does it give you if you equip it. So allies total damage increased by 10%, all stats single unit plus 5%. So you are getting some juicy stat increases. That 10% is quite nice, and of course the 5% on your DPS is going to be pretty lethal. Let's have a look at the next one. Wave Breaker. All allies start with a shield equal to 10% of max HP and gain Oceanic Ward. Ignore defense on self reduced by 30%. Okay. Accuracy, crit, and penetration increased by 20%. Very important. 20% of damage taken is converted to healing. Heals 10% of max HP per action. Per action. And heals all allies by 20% on death. So I assume this is only going to be on the individual equipped with Wavebreaker. I don't believe that's going to be all heroes per action getting HP. This is certainly going to be a tanky tactic. After your action, there is a 6% chance to heal the ally with the lowest HP by 12% and increase its damage and reduction by 20% for 2 rounds. Triggers up to 2 times per round and 8 times per battle. 100% chance of extra healing from this tactic is converted into shields. Okay, Wavebreaker. Wavebreaker is the one that I would pick. Although it is damage reduction by 10%, all stats single unit plus 5%, this is certainly going to be your defensive type tactic, whereas the Heaven's Wind is going to be your offensive one, just based on the plus bonuses. Personally, I feel like Wavebreaker is the one that I would pick. It just seems like a nice additional layer of support. If you add that with Heaven's Dragon, Pixiu, and Cyan Rook, if you're still using it, that is a lethal combination of high sustainability. That's my thoughts on it. I think early game, it's probably not going to make too much of a difference, but late game, when you get all those additional layers of shielding, healing, accuracy, damage reduction, I do think that's going to really play a big part in keeping that vital DPS hero alive. Would I stick it on a DPS though? That's hard to say. That's hard to say. If your DPS like Date is super squishy, yeah, absolutely. I could see me throwing that on a Date. Or anything that's like questionably hard to keep alive. I feel like this is probably going to cut me in clutch. It's going to keep that hero with a shield and healing. I mean, look, if you want to go balls deep offensive, obviously this hero, well, I should I say tactic, is going to provide that. It is going to give you some stacks or layers of increased damage, and it does attack the hero, all heroes too, which is very interesting. It has splash damage potential as well. I just don't know if it's as viable as keeping your heroes alive. Let me know in the comment section down below, who do you think is the best tactic? Do you think the whale tactic or the eagle tactic is best, and why? I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on it, but I think the whale tactic is winning in my opinion. Just so you know, it is going to cost you a lot to build it. I'm going to keep saying that because it is so true of this event. Now, interestingly enough, you can still buy all of these ones out as well if you do have additional ones. I was half expecting the Dragon's Blade to appear, which of course it did. So if you are interested in building that and you have built your tactics, go ahead and do so. In terms of the exchange, pretty much stock standard. I don't think they've added anything here from my first glance. No. If you have any questions about who you should pick or what you should pick, essentially go through your account and see what you're lacking. Training pills is a good one. Accessories at 120 is an important one. Actually, we're just going to buy that because I really need accessories on this account. Pretty stock standard though. Eventually, you may need to wait up if you want to go with advanced scrolls. Rule of thumb is you're going to need a lot of these tactics and a lot of these advanced scrolls, so you might want to get that out of the way as soon as possible. But once you've got a handle on that situation, I would probably recommend going and starting to buy these chests here, and of course these mythic stones. Ascension stones, if you're earlier in the game, are going to take you pretty far. You're going to need a bucket load of these ones. Good investment strategy, these two. These ones are a little bit harder to get. They're a little bit more expensive. You do need quite a lot of those. Equally so, you need a lot of ascension stones. So those two stones are a good pick either way. But now we're getting into the juicier ones here. Wavebreaker is actually available, which I think is interesting. I would have thought that the weaker of the two tactics would have been available for gold. But in my opinion, this is probably going to be the better one for a lot of gameplay. I don't know. I haven't tested out the other one, but my thoughts are definitely going to Whale Breaker. Sorry, Wave Breaker, Whale Breaker. Yeah, this event is definitely a Whale Breaker, that's for sure. But yeah, Wave Breaker looks pretty good. I don't think you can get much more than 4, which is 20 shards. So if you're on a budget, I mean, you're going to save a little bit of cash if you just go with that one. All in all, I figure you're probably going to build both anyway if you are whaling. But this one might be that might clutch it up for you if you really don't want to spend $1,000. You might be able to save a couple of $100 if you do go with Wavebreaker. Of course, the iteration or return of the Mythic Shard Generation 1 is here. 10k for a total of 50 shards. These bad boys have come back, so we will be acquiring that on this account. And of course, pretty stock standard. If you don't know, now you know, you will be needing to buy these chests eventually. Pretty much you need them. You can't get around it. This event is going to drain your gold coffers. Is it wise to spend all your gold? Probably not. But the reality is, if you do want to get ahead, you're going to notice that a lot of players are starting to build their first mythic tactic with gold. So if you have not been preparing, if you have not been buying them, you are going to get left in the dust. In fact, point in case, I should say. So Miko and Lucy, I believe, all of them got their first mythics. So Sun Luban, so you went with the tiger one, interesting. And Miko went with, I want to say you put it on stash, no? And oh, you put it on budding UG. You went with the tiger one as well. So both of these players shot up overnight. They did manage to beat me in power score at the moment. And of course, that is thanks or a big thanks to the Mythics being available in the previous Celebrate Festival. So we are playing a little bit of catch up on this account. It is very important to buy those Mythic tactics for gold if you have the spare gold. Now, what we should do is probably try to chase down some gold. And to do that, we might as well open up some of these boxes. We're going to do 10 in a row. We're going to do the 10 bombs. If we, of course, get the jackpot, yay us. If we don't, that's okay. I really just need some gold. So let's see if we can get that gold jackpot. So we didn't get too much gold that time. Actually, you know what? We should probably savor this. Let's savor the experience. All right. Let me just go all the way down. I don't know if it's going to slow it down. We don't want to do it one at a time because that will take forever. But can we get anything good? We got some gold. Oh, daily disappointment. Saving this up. What did we get? Some more gold. I mean, if you just want to give me gold, that'd be fantastic. More gold. Not looking that great. Can you give me some more gold? Hey, we got 500 gold. Okay, all right. I'll take 500 gold. Yeah, yeah. What about 13? Can we get any other gold? Ah, we did. We did manage to get a little bit of gold. Really, I only do it for the gold and stamina pills. We didn't actually get a stamina pill, which kind of sucks. But like I said, 8k gold saved up. We'll have to get some more tomorrow. We have really low gold in this account. I do like to spend me some gold. We all know that's the truth. And of course, the limited time heroes and the time heroes kind of drain the coffers for a lot of players. But what I would recommend is going and focusing on this selection chest first if you haven't done so already. We are 4 short, so we will be able to build that at the end of the week. And then I will be going ahead and buying out the wave breaker ones because that just makes more sense. Now, do I think that these tactics will appear for gold soon? I did say in my Discord that I thought that it would be a possibility, but it's probably going to be 3 months down the track before you can actually acquire those ones for gold. It took about 3 months to acquire the first mythics for gold, so it is probably going to take a long time. Good news is that there will be a anniversary event in December, early January. So Global probably is going to have that available to buy for gold, or at least the currency, whatever that may be, during that event. I would start thinking about hoarding for gold. I know last anniversary event costs around 100k gold to get pretty much all of the good stuff, if I remember correctly. I think you probably want to have between probably 50 to 100k gold saved up for the event. They did give us a bucket load of gold for free, but I'm just thinking if we start planning ahead now, we shouldn't get caught with our pants down. Not in a crude way, just nobody likes to wake up one day and just go, "Oh, I should have listened to PB." I hate it myself when I go, "Man, I wish I listened to my own advice and saved my gold." So maybe start thinking about saving up for the Christmas slash full anniversary event. That could be a really good one. Anyway, that's my review of the Celebrate Festival. For those that managed to do their limited time, congratulations if you got what you were looking for. Hopefully, this is going to be a good event for you too. Maybe you, like me, can finish off your Mythic Tactics, which will be awesome. For those that are wondering which ones to pick from the Mythic, I mean, there's probably a good one and a bad one. I feel like you want to build both of them anyway. Like the Black Tortoise isn't too bad because it has a chance to remove control effect. It essentially buffs up one of your characters' crit resistance, block chance. When the third round begins, triggers Magic Tiger, which heals all allies as well. It grants the following attack buff, damage buff, and crit buff for 2 rounds. I mean, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. What about the Dragon's Breath, Dragon's Flame? At the start of the battle, flood the floor, causes a debuff. Okay, not too bad. Penetration, accuracy, crit. Inside the magnet have their they get reduction, which isn't too bad, not too bad. Doubles additional damage. Max HP though, that's a big one. Pyro Surge reduces 8% of max HP. And of course, it times it up by 1.4% damage to the target. Other enemies in area also receive damage as well. I mean, I might go with that one. I might go with Dragon's Flame. I'll see. But I am excited we will be able to build that at some point. All right. If you have any questions, any concerns, let us know in the comment section down below. Don't be afraid, say hello on Facebook. And of course, if you aren't already a nut, jump into our Discord in the link in the description box below. Say hello. Don't be shy. But mainly, probably because we're growing a little bit, I should remind any of the newcomers, please check out the rules to avoid any of those awkward conversations that you may get. Um, because I noticed that we are starting to get quite a lot of newcomers to the Discord. Friendly reminder always, everyone is welcome, no discrimination. If you have any issues, let us know directly. But I will see you all in the next one.